Now, let's say we have a problem that looks like this. Okay. Now, remember quadrants. Okay. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Okay, so let's say we have a problem like this. The terminal side of theta in standard position is quadrant 2, so cosine is -3/5. Find the exact values of 6 trig functions. Okay, so I guess I was muted the whole time. The answers to the problems are right here on the left side. Okay, to the previous problems, I mean. So if you remember quadrant 2, okay, well, let me just show you all the quadrants. Okay, quadrant 1 is here, quadrant 2 is here, and remember they use Roman numerals to denote these, and quadrant 4 is there. Okay, so cosine is -3/5. So the first thing I want you guys to note, I do something that's kind of, I wouldn't say it's cheating, but it's a shortcut. It's short. Let me just say it. It shortens the time you spend on each problem. Okay. Now, for these kind of trig problems, you're going to choose one of these triangles, depending on what quadrant it is. Okay. Now it says it's in quadrant 2, so obviously you're going to choose this triangle. Okay, so we're going to draw this super generic triangle right here. Okay, that looks like that. Okay. And then cosine is adjacent. Remember, this is adjacent over hypotenuse, which means it's 3 and 5. And think of it as an xy coordinate. The 3 has to be negative. Okay. Because you're going left, so that's negative. And this is going up, which is positive. Okay. Now, I'm just going to use Pythagorean theorem, okay, to find this guy right here. Okay, so I'm going to get -3 squared plus 5 squared equals 2 question mark squared. I actually have no clue, Max. That's a really good question. Actually, that's more of a statement. And the statement is that, Mr. Chen, you did it wrong. The 5 should be over there. Good call, man. Okay. Yep, thank you. So it should be this right here. Okay, so Max was like, wait a minute, Mr. Chen, the 5 is the hypotenuse, so it should be here. That's correct. Okay, so I'm going to call this, I'll just call this a question mark here. Okay, so we got question mark and then we got 5. Okay, so now I got 9 plus question mark squared equals to 25. Let's just go. Okay, question mark is going to equal to basically 4. Okay, so this is going to equal to 4 right here. And then I got yellow and yellow. Okay, now that's the hardest part, believe it or not. Now it's really easy. Okay, sine, cosine, sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. Okay, let me press some enters here. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. Okay. Now, sine, you just literally fill this in. Okay. Sine is going to be 4 over 5. This is -3/5. That's given. Okay. Tangent is -4/3. Cosecant, you basically just flip sine. Secant, you basically just flip cosine. Cotangent, you basically just flip tangent. Okay, and you're done. That's basically it. Okay. Now let's pretend I'm gonna add something. I modify the problem slightly. Okay, let's pretend this said root 5. Okay, let's say this was root 5, which means this is root 5. Okay, let's make it root 2. Okay, so this is root 2. Then you got to simplify it. Remember, you cannot have a radical on the bottom. Okay, you cannot have a radical on the bottom. So you would multiply by root 2. This is from IM2 Advanced. You multiply by root 2 over root 2. It's basically a big fat 1. This is a 1, essentially. And multiplying by 1 doesn't change the value, just changes the way it looks. And this would equal to 4 root 2 over root 2 times root 2 is root 4, which is just 2. A shortcut to thinking about that is root anything times root anything is anything without the root. Like root chen times root chen is basically chen without the root. Lastly, 4 divided by 2 is basically going to be a nice clean 2. Okay, so that's how I'm just showing you a way. I modify the problem, and I'm just showing you what happens if there's a radical in the denominator. Now, yes. You mean like right here? No, theta's all. That's why I put the dots here. The dots are. It's always going to be. Theta is always going to be where the dots are. Always. It's fixed. Yep. Good question. Now, cosecant in this particular example's case would be root 2 over 4. Okay, it'll be root 2 over 4. That's completely fine. You don't need to go any further because the root is on the numerator. If the root's on the numerator, you're all good. Okay, you only need to simplify roots if there's a root on the denominator, which in this particular modified problem, root 2 is. Okay, all right. I want you guys. I want you guys to go ahead and do here. Let me go like this. Let's go like that. Boom. I want you guys to do these right here. Just do these green highlights. Do the odds. And find these. Here, I'm going to cover that up. Let's start with, actually, I don't want you guys doing these green highlights. Do these green highlights. Okay, do it exactly the same way, and I want you to find all 6 trig functions. Okay, so find all 6 trig functions. For number 53, convert that to a fraction and then proceed. Okay, hopefully you guys all know how to convert that to a fraction. Yep. You actually, so for some of these problems, you can do it without them telling you what the quadrant is.